Good morning, folks. I hope you're all waking well. It's time for Potato and Cabbage Salad with your host, Potato. Co-host Cab, that's me. I'm gonna start today off with. I've been trying to do Wish You Were Here, but I can't seem to play it today right, so I'm gonna do My Friends by Red Hot Chili Peppers. My friends are so distressed. I feel the question of your loneliness. Confide and I'll be on your side. Well, you know I will. You know I will. Ex-girlfriend called me up, alone and desperate on a prison phone. They want to give us 7 years for being sad. I love all of you. Hurt by cold, so hot and lonely too. When you don't know yourself, my friends are so distressed and standing on the brink of emptiness. No words I know of to express this emptiness. I love all of you. Hurt by the cold, so hot and lonely too. When you don't know yourself. Imagine me torn by tragedy. It really eases me. I heard a little girl, and what she said was something beautiful. To give your love no matter what, is what she said. I love all of you. Hurt by the cold, so hot and lonely too. When you don't know yourself. That's My Friends by the Red Hot Chili Peppers originally. Sorry about all the mistakes. I normally try and do all this in one take, but I've already done a couple takes today, which I hate to admit that, because I don't like doing that. I like it to be natural, but I was trying to do Wish You Were Here first, and I really can't seem to get it down today, so I decided to go a different way. And then I mess up Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I play all the time. So, alright, so what are we talking about today? Let's talk about better things that cops could do. So we pay them whatever they're doing. And I'm not going to pretend to know what they're doing all the time. But I really don't understand when I drive by the cop station in town. There's 30 cop cars there. There's no jail at that building. So I really wonder what the heck they're doing. But I know some things they could be doing. Like we are a small town, and I understand it might get problematic in big cities just because. But even there, you know, if people were dedicated and took the proper timings to do things the correct way, then anything can happen. Like cops could be helping our elderly and our disabled get around and do things. It's protect and serve, right? So what's the serving part? Is it just the papers that they serve you? Because that's not really serving. I mean, it's literally serving, but at the same time, it's not, you know? So we could have cops doing things like helping our elderly get to appointments, helping our elderly and disabled get food and various other things that it only makes sense because they're standing around most of the time doing nothing, or they're sitting on the side of the road trying to rob people. You could say it's not robbery, but it is. Look, the only reason they need to generate that money is so they can buy new cars and stuff like that, because they're already getting paid by the feds or the state through taxes to get for their salaries. So they need to generate money so they can buy new cars every so many years. But if they were using these cars to do things like help our elderly and help our disabled and help the less fortunate, they might actually need new cars in a few years because they've been using them for stuff that doesn't involve just sitting around waiting for somebody to speed past you. And let's face it, it's not just speeding. Like they're over. They're way over what they're supposed to be helping us, not trying to find a reason to lock you up every single time, or not trying to find a reason to take money from you or lock you up every single time they pull you over. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, that is what they're supposed to, and that's the problem. Like I said, they can be doing other things that are much more helpful for the community. You know, and we might actually be friends with cops if they started trying to actually help the community instead of rob them. This is a serious problem, folks, and I know people don't think it is because, you know, they don't deal with it very often, or they don't see it like I do. And I can tell you that there's definitely hundreds, because I've personally watched hundreds. There's likely thousands, maybe even 1 million videos on YouTube of cops abusing their power, and not all of them results in death. I'm not going to say they're all trigger happy, but they are all generating money for the state. They definitely are. I don't encourage you to watch this stuff for you to get emotional and start getting like I am about it. I just encourage you to watch some of these things so you know the reality. There is a lot of people out there, cops, doing stuff wrong. And whether it be training or whether it be because they're just in general scumbags, we need to figure out a better way to do this. One of the things that we could do is make sure that all our cops that are our cops live in our neighborhoods. Shouldn't be any cops living in other neighborhoods policing our neighborhoods. The cops that police our particular neighborhood should live in our neighborhood. That's what I believe. Because different neighborhoods are different. You know, the people all know these kids in this neighborhood. We don't need some stranger coming and acting like we're not knowledgeable of what these kids are doing or whatever. And I'm just using that as a blanket excuse, as a blanket example. Just we know our communities, and the cops that come here should live in the community so they can know what we're about to. And this is a long time ago, but in the 90s, I guess it must have been maybe mid to late 90s, I was reading a High Times magazine, and it was about Vancouver at the time. Vancouver was apparently allowing people to just smoke weed and be free about it. And that Rolling Stone interviewed one of the sheriffs in town, and he said, well, the people around here don't seem to mind. And as long as the people don't seem to mind, I'm not going to make a big deal of it. And that's what I'm saying about our communities. Like, that's a sheriff who understands his community. He probably lived there. That's what we need to do with our communities. All right. I'm going to close with one of mine. Ice cubes or water, I call this one. Yeah, I've been walking way too fast and way too long, and I can't even see what's going on while the forest through the trees are wrong. Yeah, it's the ice cubes or water. Yeah, I've been thinking way too much, losing touch, and while I'm lost in all such and such, my thoughts have all been down and up. Yeah, it's the ice cubes or water. Yeah, the ice cubes or water. Way too left and way too right, and all I've seen is lost and out of sight, and limited directions make me wonder why. Yeah, it's the ice cubes or water. Well, the ice cubes or water. Ice cubes or water, I call that. Now, I'm not saying that everything I said, it is what it is, but we can find ways for cops to be more productive and more serving in our communities. I mean, do we really want to just keep going down this path where the cops are just taking more and more, and we have to reel this in, folks. We cannot allow this to end up the way it's going. It's amazing that we even call ourselves free. We're definitely freer than some things, and there's a sense of it, for sure. But it's getting easier and easier to find those bars. The cage is getting smaller. Any closing thoughts today, Potato? I think this was episode 29 today. I definitely love for people to let me know what they think, and yeah, feel free to share, tell your friends. I'd love to hear other opinions and any kind of things that people might want me to talk about in particular. I have opinions on just about everything, right or wrong, good or bad. I certainly don't mind talking about it. I just gotta know what we're talking about. Potato. Alright, folks, you heard it here. And this Potato and Kev, it said episode 29, I think, was today. Sorry about the mess ups. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share. Remember Palestine.